that character's life, this is a phase where they're pregnant. This is where we're catching them. Right? That is how it is. It's not just about a pregnant woman and then the other way around. One moment you'll find them squealing with laughter, chasing each other about like, little kids. In the next moment, you will witness a completely heavy political conversation happening. You will see these switches.
So hello everybody, I'm with a wonder woman of Indian film industry, Anjali Menon. How is this wonder woman that experience treating you at this point of time? It's going to be streaming on November 18th in Sony Live, and this journey, this ready to go, this woman is going to go among the crowd now. So what do you feel about it? What is the entire experience?
Well, it's very similar to actually, being pregnant in a way.
Yeah.
The delivery date is coming up soon and I'm excited and I'm nervous and well, let's see what the baby's like.
Your usual process is all about intergenerational awareness or even cross-cultural friends, cousins, relationships. How come this concept of pregnant women came into your mind?
I've always had a thing for groups of people. Group dynamics is something that I'm very interested in. So you'll see a rock band, you'll see a football team, you'll see cousins, you'll see groups that work together. And in this case, it was groups who were attending, one class.
Okay.
So this film is about friendship.
Okay.
And it's about friendships that are formed when one is going through a common journey and yet each of us has our own path.
Okay.
So quite a lot like our life journeys.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's just a lens of pregnancy which is on story about friendship.
So I think all you in your women clan, Parvati is always a given because she's very close to you and you maybe of course off to all of us. But how does the other characters like Padmapriya or Sayonara or Nadia, all people came into this?
See, all of them are people I've known from before. In some way or the other, we've worked together or associated together and things. I think it's only Nadia ma'am who I have not worked with, but we've been speaking for a few years and very much in touch with her. And I find her very graceful and we've grown up on her cinema.
Yeah, correct.
So it's such a wonderful thing that she's part
She told
of
me
it.
that I'm doing an Anjali Menon film when we were talking about this Corona time, okay? Because she had this movie which came in with Joju.
Yes.
For that I was talking
on
to
Amazon.
her. On Amazon. Samayata we were talking and she said, see, I'm so excited the kind of roles coming to me now. So that is when I said, wow, it's going to be a super journey. So coming to, when you talked about this, one thread will come to your mind first, right? Wonder Woman, there should be one visual or one thought process came in. And are they going to develop it to the 10 months either?
The thought process was basically about a group of women standing together, all of them holding their bellies, and all of them having that dream, that hope within them, and that eager anticipation to where it's going, and journeying together.
Okay.
That was the thought.
So actually that's like the herd of people like moving together towards a common cause, right?
Yeah.
So when you have to direct your actors are all superstars like Nithya, Parvati, Sayonara, Nadia, then Archana, all these people. So, but they do have difference when you have to become a pregnant woman to act. And I'm sure sometimes we have seen these series of some cliched expressions on screen when the lady is pregnant and then actors. Not all the time, but some of them I've seen. So how do you find that balance to bring in new nuances to each and every character? Looking at Nithya, looking at Parvati, the way they can emote and being pregnant.
See, the thing is the script is written with the characters, right? And so they're being cast for playing a certain character. Now, the character has her own backstory, her own dimensions and everything, and she happens to be pregnant. This is where we're at. So they have their own individual, spaces to occupy. And they have been very forthcoming and contributed a lot. And in that character's life, this is a phase where they're pregnant. This is where we're catching them. Right? That is how it is. It's not just about a pregnant woman and then the other way around. So for each of them, most of them have played pregnant women before. So they were familiar with the body language and everything. So that was easy. But then there were very different sort of orientations. Like we have Amrita Subhash in the film. Now she's somebody who's coming from a different landscape altogether, and her work and everything was different, and she's not worked with any of these people either. So a complete newbie coming in. So we use that energy in a certain way in the film. We have nadiyamoidu in the film, who's from a different generation altogether, and therefore she occupies a slightly different space from everybody else. Yes, we have Archana Padmini in the film, who's not actually been all the time an actor. She's done more of film curation work and other work. And so she occupies a slightly different space in the film.
Yeah.
We have Padmapriya, who is actually Tamil, and you know, she's worked in multiple languages. So she brings her orientation.
So you brought in the diversity.
Each person has, you know, certain things which set them apart.
Yeah.
And we've tried to make those things work in their role in the group.
Correct.
And I think that creates its own chemistry.
So I'm just looking at all you women in the set, with tummy, without tummy, right? It would have been like a laugh, right? I'm sure. So what was a vibe in the set? What kind of conversations you had off, location?
Oh, it was really awesome. The energy was so high. Everybody was bouncing off the walls, literally. And it's very interesting when all of them come together. See, they're all very articulate women, very sharp, very vocal,
Yeah.
you know, and there's no one you can mess around with.
Are they?
Yeah, they're all toughies. So, in one moment, you'll find them squealing with laughter, chasing each other about like, you know, little kids. In the next moment, you will witness a completely heavy political conversation happening. You will see these switches, which are instant. And just that was awesome to see. It was awesome to witness. And very often they were all, initially when they came in, not everybody knew each other. So they were like, okay, you know, hi, hello, just being formal and things. But very soon, I mean, in almost a day, this collapsed into all of them sort of, you know, inhabiting one room and being together all the time. So much so that we had to drag them out and say,
did you miss those
hey,
conversations? Because
I did, because I was trying to make a film, and in the middle of it, I'd have to go and tell them that, hey, we're here to make a film, so let's do a bit of that too. But no, they were lovely.
Okay.
They were lovely. And in terms of working on the film, see, it's not easy to be part of an ensemble cast. They're all people who headline films, right? And still, to be so secure and to be so confident, you know well that you're sharing space with 6 other women. And you have no problems about that. In fact, you're taking care of your character, you're also helping the others out.
Correct.
That was a lovely spirit to see. And I think that really flowed into the film, because in the film also thematically it is like that. And I think that's what we're talking about, you know, that spirit of
togetherness, diversity, all those together. I want to understand, when we have to make a film, was this already for the OTT release, or whether you were planned for?
No, we always had aimed this for an OTT release.
So when you have to create something for OTT, what is that in your mind that certain things has to be like? I always seen a movie, the audience vibe is different maybe. You cannot judge a theatrical applause to a person watching in the, you know, in their sitting room and watching the movie. So how did you understand, and where do you bring those changes when you have to create something for
OTT? This is my OTT debut, and
it's your OTT debut, correct?
Yes. And initially, when, you know, a lot of OTT work was happening, I was being sent, you know, concepts and things, and I ended up asking them, why do you think, I mean, for a web series, why do you think I can write a web series? Because I've never written one, right? So they said, no, if you can write a feature, you can write it. And I said, no, I don't think so. So I actually went and did a course on web series writing.
Really?
Yes. During COVID, that's what I did.
Okay.
You know, did a course at Sundance Lab, and it was something I learnt a lot from.
Okay.
So how they position things and how an OTT audience would react to things, it was quite a learning experience. And then this film comes about. The main thing is, technically, it's different when you're watching it on a big screen and when you're watching it on a smaller screen. The level of detailing, all of that is very different. And it is something that I'm still learning about. But in this kind of a subject, it is something which is very OTT friendly. It is not a spectacle film, if you know what I mean. You know, so this is something which is much more about relationships, about people. And in that kind of telling, it works all right. But I feel OTT does open up a lot of spaces which a traditional theatre audience might be resistant to.
Correct.
Whereas here in this case, we are really keen that families see the film together. You know, and OTT does offer us that opportunity.
That's
much
a good
more.
point. Yeah,
you know, it is a subject like that. But I'd love for, you know, parents to be, for parents, for multi-generational people to see it together. That weekend movie that everybody's sitting together and watching it. I really see it in that way.
That's a good. I never thought about that. Everybody together watching, it's just like a common imbibe certain things. But as a group, your thought process also changed, right?
Yes. And thing is that when when you watch things in a group sitting at home, it's a different thing. So even the length matters. Now for a theatre, I would make a much longer film because it takes that much time to get into it. Whereas in OTT, our attention span is very different.
That kind of restrictions, how did you, because your Bangalore Days is a lengthier film.
Every film. So this film is very much about economy in terms of writing. So I had so many characters. So either I had to lose the characters and keep, how the treatment I like, or I had to change my writing to make it far more economical. So I am too greedy to lose the characters. I want all of them. So I said I'm going to write with economy. And so this time I've tried to be, keep it very simple. Very straight, and it's something different we've tried. So
how many versions you had for the script?
I don't know. I think about 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
So when you started shooting and when you have to edit, some of your certain 6 characters are your 6 babies at this point of time. So you might need to edit something out because of the length in mind, and of course sometimes other nuances. So how do you get rid of a scene which you don't want to?
I never quite actually edit to length. I edit to feel.
Okay.
It's never, I'm quite agnostic like that. Very difficult for others, but as in like they might find me a pain, but I think one has to edit to the feel, what feels right, because sometimes films in duration may be long, but when you watch it, it doesn't feel like that.
Exactly.
With
I never felt Bangalore Days was long, right?
It's my longest film.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. So I think one has to judge it by the feel. Yeah.
So then when that feel and the decision making, how many of, do you have any sort of core team to decide on that, okay, fine, we should just get rid of the scene?
It's, it's me and my writer, both of which are me. So, at the end of the day, my editor and I, we sit together, and sometimes see what's challenging is you might have crafted a scene with a lot of love, but it may not be doing much for your film.
Satyam.
So it's a beautiful scene in itself, but is it really helping in the film? There was a scene like that in Kude, where this beautiful cake making scene, where the mother makes a cake after the children have gone.
Okay.
So she puts in all the effort, and each of the shots were done with so much love. We spent so long doing it as well, to the extent that every day we would take 2 shots, only 2 shots. So we made it over a series of days. And it was edited very beautifully, and lovely music and everything, but the film was already long, and it was not, a scene sitting with the main characters.
Yeah.
So we were actually going away, the focus was going away. So with a lot of heartache, I pushed it out. And finally on Christmas, I shared just that scene. They were making a plum cake, so I said, why not, just put it out like that. So yeah, that happens sometimes.
From a Manjari crew, to Wonder Woman, where do you see your learning process, and what have you unlearned from the entire process?
I think I've unlearned more than I've learned. Maybe I don't know. It's you learn both, right? Where I think I'm a little less fettered. Where Manjari Crew, I was fresh off the boat, straight out of film school, used to carry a storyboard around and everything, very studious little filmmaker. But
that you were like a student also in Providence. My sister told me, you were so different, but you're very unique. But you had, I was just telling my, I'm going to meet you today. So she was your 1 year senior, Sonia, in Providence. She said, she might not know me, but she was very unique, she was different, very sweet.
No, it was, I used to be one of those meticulous kinds. Yeah. But over the years, I've become very, very messy. All the meticulousness has gone out the
Thanks
window.
to filmmaking.
No, not thanks to filmmaking. I think thanks to just accepting who I am.
Yeah.
It's not about what others think about you. This is my process. This is my mess, and I'm like this. The process is messy. So I find it more effective.
Okay.
And to be in that mess and to really, get dirty, get down, do it. And then cull out what you need. I think that is my process. I'm a lot more accepting of that now. So it's not about the grids and the timetables and the schedules and all that. Much beyond that, our real work is not there. Our real work is inside. Yeah. And it's developing the instinct to be able to see the right thing.
When you come to the good people, sometimes it becomes your comfort zone. So when you have to move out of the comfort zone, how easy is it for you to go for a technician, for an editor, for an actor?
It's actually exciting. I like change.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I enjoy change. I get bored. Actually.
I've seen filmmakers saying I get a panic attack if my cameraman. I was talking to Andra Kashyap. So he was saying if Rajiv Ravi is not available, I get a panic attack.
No, but that happens. If I like change generally in subject and everything else. but having to reinvent communications with a technician is you miss the person you work with,
correct.
and
because you will get with one ishara, you will get it.
yeah, and they know your mind, they know your work style, they know your process, so they have the trust, and you have the trust, and therefore it works.
Yeah.
And that flows beautifully. I really like that. But nevertheless, sometimes I think to get something fresh as well, one needs to, to also push yourself.
Correct.
Otherwise, this comfort zone is a scary thing.
Scary thing, yeah.
When especially I work rarely, right? It's not like I'm churning out films all the time.
Yeah.
So when I work rarely, then I am actually assembling from the scratch. There are very few people I work with again and again. Those people I love utterly, and I would love to work with them all the time. But it depends. I believe the film is already made and sitting somewhere.
Yeah.
So whoever's right for the film will come.
So when you're not shooting and you're in ideation, pre-production, what is that happens? And what kind of process happens through your mind, and what do you do usually?
There's a lot of stuff I do which is outside of filmmaking as well. So my time goes into all of that. I have a family. I have a son. I have the collective. I have other work as well that I do. Which is not film related.
So keep you busy.
So there's enough on my hand.
Whom did you approach first for the role, Paru?
I remember actually the order. But I remember speaking with Nadia ma'am, but before that I think I had spoken to some of them. So I think Parvati and Padmapriya.
Padmapriya. Yeah. So when I'm sure they would have been really got excited with the moment you would have given that one-liner. But then how, when you have to, from the one-liner to your 3-hour long or a 2-hour long movie, when you see certain things which is moving in the right direction, sometimes you see, okay, fine, this is not what I anticipated, or this is not what I envisaged. So how soon you will correct that, or do you think that you change accordingly? What is that you process?
See, if something is surprising me, but it's a good surprise, I just let it happen.
Okay.
Let it happen. Let's see where we go.
Okay.
Because that's the fun of improvisation, right? I may have seen it in a certain way, but they've played it in a very different way. So let's see. Okay. Let's see where it's going. And then it'll keep going, and then if I'm liking it, I'll start building everything else towards that.
Okay.
If I'm feeling that maybe it's going a little off, then gently I'll just rein them in.
Correct.
So then they also get sense. And actors are so sensitive.
Yes.
So they pick it up very soon.
In the entire filmmaking process, what is your favorite part of it? Writing or directing or?
The editing.
Editing, huh?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, totally. I'm not a person who, likes to be with a lot of people actually. So it really saps me of my energy. Somehow it is only on a shoot that I don't mind it.
Okay.
On a shoot, we're all working towards one purpose, right? That's the only place I can be uninhibited and, I'll forget what to wear and I'll be looking like some weird person from somewhere because my head is not there. And you're so focused on the work that I am unaware of how many people I'm surrounded by.
Okay.
But otherwise, I'm not somebody who...
You're with your guard.
I generally like to have a smaller circle. In the editing process, it's so nice, it's so intimate. It's just my editor and me.
And your story.
And all the characters. There. Everybody's there. So it's a lovely time, and it's also a time when we rewrite the film, right?
With emotions.
Yeah. So now you have all the cards on the table. These are the cards we have. This is what we have to play with.
How much you delegate in a filmmaking process? Some things I always ask this question to all the directors. How much you love to take it to yourself and how much you wanted to delegate to people to make it happen? No,
delegation of course happens because they have to do their job. Everybody does their job.
Which you do not want to touch.
I get involved in every department though. I get involved in every department. I work very closely with every HOD. Be it costume, be it makeup, be it art, be it editing, be it sound design, every department.
Okay.
I work first hand with them. None of that gets delegated. Because who would I delegate it to? I'm the director, right? So I have to do my job.
What is the changes you've seen in multiple industries you worked with? Being a director, being a writer?
See, there are changes in the workplace. Definitely the manner of working. I think we've gotten a lot more organized. And the thing is, it's a flip side. At one level, there's a lot of organization which is happening. But at the other level, are we losing our instinctive filmmaking? Because you can prep and you can rehearse and rehearse and rehearse till you kill it. And I don't mean kill it in a good sense.
Exactly.
You can lose the spontaneity of it. And sometimes that's not what, one likes. I am actually a fan of indie filmmaking. So yes, I like to prep. I really believe we should prep because that's what is best utilization of resources then. But there needs to be space to jump off the page. So I think that's important.
Okay.
Now with the coming of producers who have streamlined processes, a lot of times the script is vetted and feedback is given and all of that. But I do think it is a medium where there's a lot of instinct also involved. I think it is important for people to understand that even a director needs space to be able to do that magic.
Yes.
Because if it is actually everything is pinned down and papered and you know put away in a box, then where is that magic?
Correct. But when you see other people's magic, like other people's films, what kind of films excite you to coincide?
Films that excite me are films which are from that indie space.
Ah.
See, in Malayalam, we have a lot of those films.
Correct.
Where just a bunch of actors have come together and you know, there is some kind of a script, but there's a lot of contribution that's happening on set. And because of that, we are far more responsive also in our content. Anything that's happening politically somewhere will all be reflected in our films.
Correct.
It's such a lovely thing.
Assyria.
That's because it's open to that. That openness is there. That, okay, we want to have a bit a touch of that, a touch of this as well. If this was locked, the script 1 year ago, and it was sitting there, would you have any of that? You wouldn't. So that openness is very, very important. So I do think a lot of processes are getting streamlined, which is great for production and everything. But when it comes to creative processes, I would really like to see makers being given a certain space.
Who's your Wonder Woman?
For me, my mother is
Mother,
my Wonder
right?
Woman.
Okay. What are the things that you would like the audience to perceive in this film?
I think the audience just needs to come with an open mind.
Yeah.
Because what we are speaking about in the film, none of them are alien concepts.
Correct.
Somewhere inside, we all know this.
Right.
But some things may be a little surprising.
Okay.
So just coming in with an open mind, just to have a good time, let them come in and then we'll see how
Exactly.
they respond.
It should be a normal delivery.